Donald Trump stated something we've been saying all along. American Jews who voted for Joe Biden, or I should say Joe Obama, Biden, should be ashamed of themselves. Just as the Bush dynasty, the Bush administration, was an administration that was in the back pocket of the Saudi Arabians, partnered with them in the Carlyle Group, the Bush dynasty, and sold America down the river to the Saudis who funded Al-Qaeda after September 11th. As you heard us say repeatedly, Joe Obama has done the same, pandering to Iran, the arch sponsors of international terror, the Houthis, the Hezbollah, and the Hamas. Israel, September 11th was October 7th. 1,400 killed, murdering babies in their cribs, raping women, little girls in front of their parents, abducting a couple of hundred people. And then they become the victims when the Israelis fight back. They shoot hundreds and hundreds of rockets at Tel Aviv and its environs, all at the behest of Iran. Nobody denies this. Nobody denies that the Iranians are animating the Houthis. Nobody. Al-Qaeda had to be put out of existence. ISIS had to be put out of existence. But when it comes to Israel, no, Hamas must live. The fact that they've stated twice there will be more October 7th, the fact that their real senior leadership, not just Yahya Sinwar, but the leadership who stole $11 billion based in Qatar, said after we kill the Zionists, we'll kill all the Jews, then we're going to kill the Christians. Publicly said this. They're the victims. When the Israelis go in to eliminate Hamas once and for all, they promise they're going to strike again. Joe Obama wants to make sure they have the wherewithal to do it. This goes back to Barack Obama. These policies go back to Susan Rice, and they go to a number of people. And they're the policies of the Biden administration, Jake Sullivan. We're going to come back and do this again. Don't you dare wipe us out, or we won't be able to do it. You have a de facto terrorist sympathizer in the White House, a de facto terrorist sympathizer, putting an arms embargo on Israel. The ordinance he's withholding from Israel is JDAM. These are precision-guided weapons. It helps Israel to limit collateral damage and reduce civilian casualties because, as we know, Hamas uses their civilians, including their children, as human shields. They target Israeli civilians and children and then use their own as human shields so they can make themselves victims. They raped babies. They beheaded children. Now they're the victim. But they said they're going to come back and do it again. They said that 3 times. That doesn't matter. But they're using their own civilians as shields. We're not doing it. That doesn't matter. But this JDAM ordinance help us to limit civilian casualties. That doesn't matter. We're not giving it to you. We want you dead, Jew. That's what it comes to. We want dead Jews. Innocent Jewish people, innocent Jewish children. And you're voting for Joe Obama, who gave $300 billion in unfrozen assets to Iran to fund this? And now he puts an embargo on Israel? This is the same Joe Obama. Of course, Biden, Obama, is simply a senile stooge, a mentally incompetent corruptocrat who's a front for Obama. Obama is the one who pressed New Zealand and Great Britain to vote against Israel in the UNESCO vote, saying Israel has no right to claim its biblical holy sites. and you'll still vote for them. And you'll still vote for Schumer. And you'll still vote for Schiff. And you'll still vote for Nadler and Wasserman Schultz and Steve Cohen. You'll still vote for Blumenthal. You will still vote for these left-wing people who betrayed your own ethnic group and your own country and Israel. Donald Trump is right. Only I would add something to it. If you're a Jew who votes Democrat, not only should you be ashamed of yourself, you should have your head examined. If that's what you've done to your own country and your own people. They murdered those Jewish children. My children are Jews. My grandchildren are Jews. My children are born in Israel. Don't call yourself a Jew. Call yourself a Benedict Arnold. Call yourself a Guy Fawkes. But don't call yourself a Jew. You're not worthy of the name Jew. An embargo on Israel? With weapons it needs to defend itself from Hamas? To finally wipe them out so they won't be able to carry out their threat? They say they're going to do it again, and Joe Obama wants to make sure they survive to do it again. Not only that, but if they have to use dumb bombs instead of smart ones, if they don't have the precision-guided ordnance, it's going to cause even more Gazan civilian casualties. In those Hamas tunnels, they find United Nations equipment, food parcels, supposedly given for the people by the United Nations Relief Work Agency, paid for mainly by the United States. And it was just seconded to Hamas with the UN knowing it. They found a computer underground command and control system with a computer network underneath the United Nations building. Open collaboration between the UN and Islamic terror to kill Jews. And the American taxpayer gets the bill. Oh, what about the relief workers who were killed by the Israelis? They didn't target them. They're not Hamas. Those relief workers shouldn't have been there because no relief should have been allowed into Gaza until the hostages are released. And now Joe Obama, and remember, it's Barack Obama telling Biden what to do. It's Susan Rice. It's Jake Sullivan. The Obama administration are just the stooges, the senile stooges. Build a coastal dock to bring in aid, drop aid by parachute. Most of that aid is not going to the people, it's going to Hamas, who are using their people as human shields. That's to begin with. But none of it should have been given until the hostages are released. Now Biden is pressing Israel to accept a ceasefire that will allow Hamas to survive and strike again and carry out their threat, to do it again, without a full release of the hostages. There was no occupation. There were no Jews there since 2005. The Israelis allowed 8,000 Gazans to cross the border to go to work every day in Israel and earn a living. There was no embargo of water or electricity or food. The Israelis were allowing Gazans to come to Israel for medical treatment, free medical treatment for children, surgery, by Jewish doctors to save their lives. That is what happened. That is exactly what happened. But what do we see now? Hypocrisy upon hypocrisy. That is what has become of the United States under the present government. I'm not campaigning for Mr. Trump. I'm not endorsing any political party, but I'm expressing my fear that the curse of Genesis 12, 1-3 will come into play. What is that curse? That curse is simply, I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee.